right now, this period of the economy, are the headlines steering us the right way? Is it true that it's harder right now to sell a rental property?
It's all about data and perspective.
Mhm.
And to answer your question directly regarding the headlines, no, when they say that home sales are down, that does not mean that it is hard to sell your home. There is a very big difference there. Again, some of that is data without perspective. You know, if they say home sales are down, well, home sales are down from a year ago. 100% they're down from a year ago. I'm not saying they're down 100%. I'm saying, yes, I agree with you fully that they're down from a year ago. And that's because sales were bonkers last year. If the pace of sales kept up with last year, we would have bigger problems in our country. So the fact that home sales are down is not surprising. We've talked about it openly here, how this was going to happen here on the show for over a year now. Mm-hmm. But that does not mean that it's hard to sell your home. And so I've got some great data to support this. So the best way to kind of measure how hard it is to sell your home is your median days on market. And what this means is you track all of the homes that sold in your market. We'll talk about Jacksonville, of course, but you track all the homes that sold in your market over the last month, and you track the median number of days for those homes to sell. And you can track this over time. And, you know, if those days on market are way up compared to historical averages, then you would say, okay, it's harder to sell your home today than it was, you know, at some point in the past. Or if the days on market are lower today than they have been in the past, then you would say it's actually easier today. Mm-hmm. So overall, it is not hard to sell this asset, but there are certain periods of time where you will have longer days on market and fewer days on market. Okay. So you want to hear some of the days on market? Yeah. Compare it, some data with a little bit of perspective sprinkled on here. Sprinkle it on. Let's sprinkle, baby. Okay. So right now, July 2023, the last data from the multiple listing service here in Jacksonville, 32 days on market is the median number of days that it takes for somebody to sell their house. Now, how does that feel to you? If it was the right move for you to make a decision to sell that property and you had to wait 32 days to sell your house, does that seem like that is an illiquid asset to you?
It doesn't sound too illiquid. I mean, I struggle to think if I know that I have something that's going to sell in the next 30, call it 40 days, and at that sum of money, I would assume that I have resources in order to bridge whatever gap it is.
You're certainly not going into that saying, oh my goodness, I don't know if that's ever going to sell. Correct. Gotta wait 30 days. Correct. Right? When you go and buy a property, you generally are waiting 30 days or maybe 45 days for the lender to do his part to close on the house. So you're waiting, 30 or 45 days to buy. Call it you're waiting 32 days on average in Jacksonville currently to sell your house. But I think the more interesting thing is right now, the feel for those out there is that it's really hard to sell. Well, let me give you a little bit of days on market in the past. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go back to 2020. Did you know that in July 2020, the median days on market was 41 here in Jacksonville? Okay. 41. That's 30%-ish higher than what it is right now. Yeah.
And that was when stuff was flying
off the shelves. Yeah. Right. In July, right. Obviously, COVID happened. We needed a few months, but July 2020, things started really to escalate as far as home prices, and people were buying and interest rates were incredibly low. And there was this whole big news cycle about how everybody should invest in single family rental properties. 41 days on market in July 2020. July 2019, 39 days on market. July 2018, 36 days on market. July 2017, 41 days on market. So we're at 32 days on market right now, which is a lot lower than it has been recently. I went back to 2014. You often talk about how, man, if I could have a time machine, I'd go back to 2014 and I'd buy as much as I possibly could in Jacksonville real estate.
Everybody would here.
Yeah. You want to know what the days on market was in 2014?
What was days on market?
53 days on market in July 2014. Okay. 53. Right? Yeah. And then I look back at the last time that there really was a hard market to sell a house in Jacksonville. And that would be July of 2011, right? July of 2011, we still weren't out of the woods yet for the Great Recession, and it was a tough time. I owned a lot of real estate there. I was buying and holding, but I will give you that. It was tougher to sell at that moment, probably the toughest it'll ever be in my career. This is what it looks like for a really, call it noticeably more difficult time to sell a house. Yeah. 92 days on market is what it was in July of 2011. 3 times what it is right now. And that was more difficult to sell. Yeah. Right? But we're talking about 32 days on market right now in this environment. And home sales are still high compared to Jacksonville's historical averages. They're just lower than what they were a year ago. And that's not really the right way to look at this. So if you're on the sidelines and you're saying, hey, I love everything about this asset class, I want to take my money from the stock market, I want to put it into this asset class, but I just don't know, am I ever going to be able to sell that property? Think about this, 32 days on market. That is not a reason for you to stay away from this asset class.
That's pretty eye-opening, man, because I would have thought before when I was an average investor and I wasn't part of this community and I had purview to all this stuff, I bet you the common thinking is 90 days right now, right? Like I hear about people thinking that this asset class is so illiquid and it's so hard to get out of. I bet you people are thinking that it's like 2.5 months, 3 months to sell a property, as opposed to this idea of like a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a completely different equation.